Could Mecole Hardman's reunion in Kansas City be short-lived? That's where we're going to kick off today's Chiefs Report. My name is Harrison Graham. Hardman re-signed recently, but has been labeled as a potential surprise cut candidate. Charles Goldman of A to Z Sports, who covers the Chiefs, said, short-lived reunion with the Chiefs Super Bowl 58 hero? It could happen. Chiefs assistant head coach and special teams coordinator Dave Toub recently revealed that offseason standout Nikko Remigio is currently the team's top option at kick returner. And we've obviously talked a lot about Remigio as he's had a couple of strong off seasons in a row, could make this football team. And listen, the Chiefs wide receiver room is crowded to say the least. Like, there are a lot of competition after the top three guys. Sky Moore, Justin Watson, Tony, Ross, Remigio, Hardman, even guys like Montrell Washington. Like, there's guys fighting for spots on this depth chart. I think these six guys, after the top three of Marquise Brown, Rashee Rice, and Xavier Worthy, are all fighting for 2, 3, 4 roster spots, depending on how many receivers the Chiefs carry. Sky Moore, Tony, Mecole, Nikko, Justin Watson, Justin Ross. Like, none of these guys are great, but none of them are bad either. It's really going to come down to which ones stand out, what do the Chiefs value, who can contribute on special teams, what type of receivers. If Remigio is this team's best kick returner, that probably gives him a pretty good shot to make this football team. The point is as weird as it sounds, and he's been on this team for 5.5 years, and he won the Super Bowl game-winning touchdown. He can play special teams. Like, Mecole Hardman is not a guarantee to be here. Like, you look at his year-by-year stats, he hasn't had a kind of complete season in 3 seasons. 2022, he missed half the year with I think it was a hip injury. Last year, he signs with the Jets. He was a disaster, or it was just not a good fit there. Comes back to the Chiefs and plays a little. Obviously, contributed in the Super Bowl. But, like, even if he makes the team, like, I don't think you're getting 2021 production because you just have other guys that are going to play ahead of him. So, I was a little surprised when he re-signed here because I had a similar thought of, yeah, I'm glad he's back and he knows this offense and, like, he'll probably make this team, but it's not like it's a guarantee. Like, he probably could have found a team where there'd be very little chance that he'd get cut. So maybe he just thought, hey, I tried that with the Jets and it didn't work out. I'm going to stay where I'm with what I'm familiar with. But, man, you're going to have to go beat out a Sky Moore, a Tony, someone like that if you're going to make this football team. Will Mecole Hardman make the Chiefs' 53-man roster? What do you guys think? Type M for make, W for won't. I mean, I guess I had to guess, I'd say make, but, I mean, a few of these receivers aren't going to make it, and I don't know which ones they're going to be just yet. Let's talk Chris Jones. Is he going to be skipping training camp? Oh, it's not going to be a holdout situation, but he did say that he's talked to Andy Reid about a scaled-back schedule during training camp. Here's what he said in an interview via the Kansas City Star. He says, I've already been talking to Andy about, hey, let me skip out on training camp. I'm a little older, right? I can feel it. I can feel when we have a day on training camp. Give me like 2 days off and 1 day on then, and maybe we can work something out. He just looked at me, so the conversation is ongoing. Now, Chris Jones obviously skipped all of training camp last year and the season opener and still went on to have a really good season. So, like, it's not like he can't, he has to be there for every training camp practice and has to go balls to the wall. Like, when it matters, he's going to deliver. Now, I guess one could make the argument that him holding out last year impacted his play a little bit. His numbers were down a touch. He was still dominant by, most metrics. I mean, the volume stats like sacks went down a little bit, tackles, but he missed the opener. Obviously, that contributes as well. But, so again, did not going to camp impact his season? I would say not really. He still graded out very well per PFF, and when it mattered most, he was pretty dominant in the Super Bowl. They could not block him. So this story that Chris Jones might skip some of training camp or want some more veteran days off, Andy Reid says that, or he said he asked Andy Reid about it, and Andy Reid kind of just looked at him, and so he said the conversation is ongoing. Look, he held out last year, still had a dominant season. He's 30 years old. I think a fair compromise here is, hey, Chris, we just paid you big money. We expect you at camp. We'll work in some veteran off days for you. And you should do that anyway. Travis Kelce should get a vet off day here and there. You want to preserve these guys for the course of this next 6-month journey, starting with training camp and hopefully ending in February with the confetti falling on you for a third straight Super Bowl. So, yeah, he's 30 now. You just gave him big money. You want to have that asset available for the this 5-year contract at a high level. But that doesn't mean you just don't practice either. Like, you got to find a balance. So we'll see if Chris Jones gets what he wants and gets a lot of time off during training camp. I'm guessing they'll find a middle ground, 2 days on, 1 day off, something like that. But we'll see where it goes from there. Speaking of training camp, who's going? You going to Chiefs camp this year? Type me if you are in the comments section below. And, hey, get yourself some gear for training camp. It's going to be hot. Get yourself a tee, hat, on sale, chatsports.com/KC Combo. That link is in the comments and in the description, chatsports.com/KC Combo. Get yourself a Chiefs t-shirt and hat today, regardless of if you're going to training camp or not. All right, CBS released their top 100 players list recently, and I just kind of wanted to dive into which Chiefs made it, if it, the list made sense, if there were any notable admissions. 7 players. We'll go in inverse order. Trey Smith snuck in there for the first time at number 90 at the Chiefs right guard. Joe Thuney at 86. That caught my attention. I was like, I like Trey Smith, but Thuney, I think, is more than 3 players better than Smith in the entire NFL, but that's neither here nor there. Creed Humphrey, 48. Trent McDuffie, 30. He's getting a lot of love after a dominant season last year. 3 guys in the top 20. Travis Kelce, Chris Jones at 18 and 14. And then, of course, Patrick Mahomes at number 1, which is probably the most valid on this list. I don't think there's any question he's the best and most valuable player in the National Football League. This feels pretty accurate. I was thinking of, omissions. Could have Justin Reed have snuck in there? Rashee Rice. He's only played 1 year, though. So, Isaiah Pacheco, good running back. But, is he a top 100 player in this league? Probably not. George Karlaftis is probably not there yet. I mean, think about top 100, right? There's 32 teams. That's like 3 to 4 players per team on average. Chiefs got 7. They just won the Super Bowl. It kind of checks out, right? They got double the amount of top 100 players in the NFL, if not a little bit more. So, again, a couple of guys could have snuck in there. If L'Jarius Sneed was still on this team, he would have been an 8th. Obviously, I didn't look at the full list, but I assume he's in there, probably a top 50 guy. Based on how he's played the last couple of years. But I thought this was pretty fair for the Chiefs' inclusions, and getting Mahomes at 1 is obviously absolutely correct. What do you guys think? Did CBS snub any Chiefs players? Anybody missing? Again, Justin Reed's probably close-ish, but he hasn't been dominant. He's been solid. So, crazy enough, if you wanted to include kickers, Harrison Butker, arguably the best kicker in the game, one of them, but he did not get in there. All right, that's going to do it for today's Chiefs Report. My name is Harrison Graham. More videos to come here on the channel, so subscribe and turn on notifications.